Hello, everyone. We are here for our second episode of Show Your Work, the 10-week series where we talk about showing your work as an artist, and we're reading the book Show Your Work. So, Jay Z, take it away.
All right. So yeah, to recap for people, what we're doing is this book. We're going through this book. It's called Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. And it's the reason we're doing this is as Jupiter moves into Leo, we're all gonna just really shine, right? And see, I'm blowing up on my messages even. We're gonna shine, and we're gonna prepare ourselves for that moment. Do you remember when it is, Andy? That
Jupiter
um.
goes into Leo. I don't know my ephemeris. I can get it. Hold on one second.
Hmm. All right. Well, at any rate, so this book is going to be inspirational. I know because I previewed it in the aisle when I decided to buy it. And what we learned
July
last
of
time.
2026. Jupiter goes into Leo. July of 2026.
Oh, July. Oh, then we
Yeah.
have plenty of time. All right. So yeah, so now we're still, I guess, in the Jupiter Cancer vibe. We're making our work at home in our studio.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. So what we learned last time was that you don't have to be a genius. You just have to um, do your work, and yeah, you don't have to be the most amazing at it. And as a matter of fact, the other thing we learned is that being an amateur is better because, like with beginner's mind, you have less, I'd say self censorship.
Interesting. There's also the lesson of find a scene of people. Like, don't just be all about yourself anyway. Be about the scene of artists that you work with. Or for us, it's talk show hosts and artists as well. But we make visual arts. We do a lot of stuff here.
Yeah. The other thing was you can't find your voice if you don't use it. That kind of goes along with just start spewing stuff out. And
Yeah,
you'll get better at it.
yeah.
Or you'll get different at it, or it will be cool to see your progression or something, anything.
Did you do any of these lessons this week, or did you want to give us your update of what how you integrated what you learned?
Let's see. I got to think about that for a second. I'm not prepared to answer that question, although I know I said I would ask it. Let me ask you that same question.
Well, I would say what I applied it to mainly is I'm doing we're moving on to bead portraits in 2026, so I'll be like selling those. And the thing is, I'm each one's different, and I have to attack each one as its own animal, and I can't look at it like I have to make the perfect bead portrait. Like there was, on the one I was trying to do the first flesh tone one, and I did the neck. You remember, and we didn't like it. I was like, I do
Hmm.
not like what this looks like, and I showed it to you. I showed it to a few other artistic direction people, and then because my community gave me feedback, I took out the beads on the neck and I redid it, and it looks just insanely awesome. But it wasn't me that figured that out; it was the community all together, and I wasn't being perfect like a genius. I was making all kinds of mistakes trying to do this thing, and so I integrated both those lessons: is just try, and then also engage your community or your team or your friends or your crew to help you with whatever piece you're making.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I guess from my side, I'm trying out the beginner at something method. So, inspired by you, who have made these beaded circular works of our character faces from Doll Time 6.
Hmm.
Um, I'm going to kind of echo that in a different media. So I have two that I'm considering right now. Um, One of them is I actually went out and bought this stuff. It's for latch hook rugs, and I'm gonna try to use yarn and latch hook style to also make pictures of our faces.
Nice.
So uh, I This is something in the could be awesome, could be awful spectrum. I have no idea.
Oh, it's going to be awesome because since you told me about it, I'll tell you there are computer programs where you can render a photograph to a cross stitch pattern or or you can just put it on a grid basically.
Hmm.
So all you need to do is you could take a grid and then put it down and then put a picture over it, and you would just literally make yourself a grid.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. I was thinking along the counted cross stitch lines too, but
Yes.
but I didn't go so far as to consider that there would be a program that would lay this out for me. I was thinking of asking Dali to do it, um, which is the kind of image maker chat bot
You know,
model.
my brother's a tattoo artist, and it's interesting because there's this idea that if you're a real artist, you should be able to freehand things and not have to use a program and like all this kind of stuff. But he was telling me that in the ancient times, like they would actually basically make a cross stitch grid to make painting. Like they would project a picture or a person onto a wall and they make a grid on the wall. Like gridding is a thing in art and it's been done for thousands of years, and like the idea that you're cheating by gridding is actually wrong. And so I learn a lot from my brother as a tattoo artist. He gives me feedback on stuff that I'm making constantly, and so don't be afraid to use all the tools available. People also use reference photos and all that kind of stuff to make what they're making.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I like that. I'm glad that you said that out loud too, because yeah, I kind of think it's bullshit to like anyway, for someone to tell someone else that they're cheating, I always think is kind of like ridiculous because it's like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah, right, right.
Except critiquing other people
Yeah, I love
and
to make that joke.
squashing
It's like
their
what I like to do
creativity.
is not make art, but just critique other people. Like that's
Yeah.
just like whatever. Critics are not artists. They're just like annoying trolls to artists. Like
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. All right, so we'll see how far I get on the latch hook rug thing, but that's my beginner mind, and trying to find my voice, I guess. It's that lesson too,
well, and
because
then I also want to say about that is like if you need any yarns, like I have a ton of yarn, and you could show me your grid, and I could cut up yarns and send them to you. So, because I don't want you to have to go buy all the skeins of yarn when I have a whole stash of yarn.
oh right, yeah, thank you. That's a good point. The thrift store that I go to often has quite a lot of yarn,
Oh,
so I'll try to procure it there, or I have some leftover stuff that I didn't send to you when I was cleaning out my closet.
oh, nice. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying,
Thanks.
like,
Yeah.
gathering materials is another piece of art. Like, in every beaded portrait I make, I have to literally gather the beads. Like, I was just at the bead store look at all these beads I have right here, right? And I had to gather all these. Like, these I gathered from this bead store I went to on the beach this weekend. But, like, you got to gather your supplies, and that's a whole adventure of its own. And that's really fun. So, I can help. Let me gather your supplies with you.
All right. That all right, I will.
Okay.
So, all right, so let's go to lesson 2.
Okay.
Lesson 2 is think process, not product.
Okay.
Any initial thoughts on that?
Yes, like so a lot of times people are really invested in the end product, and really if we know what we take from like ancient Greek times where there's this Fantasia realm where we see visions, they say that things are perfect in the vision realm but nothing is actually perfect on earth, right? So you can envision a perfect cube, but do we ever really see a perfect cube on earth? Not really. I mean, yeah, with computers maybe we can, produce one, but the thing is it's more about the process of visioning and then trying to draw down that vision in a
Mm,
process. And if you get married to the product looking exactly like your vision, there's always going to be material challenges, like you can't get the yarn you need, you can't get a certain color, or there's always some challenge with the materials or something that makes it not look like your vision. And
mhm.
so it should be married to the process of making and then seeing what the end product becomes of its own volition. It's iterative too, right? And then you don't love or hate the product, you just loved the process, and
Mm.
that's what I would say to that.
Oh, that is good. That's interesting. And it reminds me too of like why are we doing this anyway? We're doing this to have fun while we're doing it. We're
Mhm,
not doing it so that in the end we make a zillion things that we have in our closet or that we sell or that whatever. Like we're just like for me anyway, speaking for myself.
mhm.
I do things because I like doing things. I especially like doing things with my friends. I really love doing projects with friends, and so that kind of ties together the whole process and the scene. You know.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I love that. If we include part of the process is engaging our friends and community in the piece, like a lot of what art is about to me is the storyline and the community gathered around the project. Like, for example, let's say there's a mural in the park that's dealing with racism. It brings a whole community together to deal with the topic of racism. It gets kids involved. Like, there's like big scale artists do a lot of community involvement, and that is part of the process, right? And so I do think that I love what you're saying is that the community building is could be part seen as part of the process. It's the same with making videos. You know, it's like I love the process of doing the work with my friends to design the video.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, then you all then having people over and all dressing up like in makeup and costumes and then filming each other and then like playing around on the front yard and the cars are honking as they're going by. It's like that's a fun way for me to spend a Saturday, you know.
Even making this show with you today, it's like I always see this as I kind of modeled the Moira Prosa after this bar I used to go to where I'd sit there at happy hour where there's these regulars, and I was like, I loved the happy hour vibe, but I just didn't like the conversation topics. And so I was like, I would rather talk about topics we're into, but kind of have that vibe here. And so it's like these videos, are they about the end product? They're more about the process of hanging out with my friend Jay Z. I mean, this particular video, and also benefiting people with the knowledge that we're learning. I think it's like a win-win-win-win-win, right? But
Yeah.
I think, do I care about what the video looks like at the end and what our outfits look like? It's more about the process of just being and doing that is more what it's about.
Hmm.
A lot of perfectionists get really into the product to the point where they don't do the process. One of the things that blocks artists' chakras a lot, like you can feel their chakras stop spinning, is when they think they're not going to be perfect. Like I deal with this a lot with musicians. They're like, I don't want to sing the song on camera because it might not be perfect. I'm like, we don't try for perfection. Don't even just do the process of singing on, just sing. And that opens their chakras back up. But it's like nothing stops an artist from spinning faster than the idea of perfection. And
Hmm.
I think that's that product thing. What's the product?
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
I mean, there are times when perfection is in line, like albums. Like, okay, if you're going to make an album, you go through the process with the arrival at the most perfect rendering of your songs that you can get because it's replicated and it's like with a book, like we want to get all the nits out and the typos out. Like, there are some products that need to be rendered, but still you got to kind of fall in love with the process because it's a really long process to get anything perfect. I mean, you know, I don't know.
Hmm. That's cool. And also what he's saying in this book is to take people behind the scenes with you on the process. So when so his example is there's painting, the noun, and then there's painting, you know? And in all kinds of work, there's like the end result, but then there's the process, and bringing people along with you on the journey makes it more interesting. And I think this also does tie in with what you're saying about like there isn't a need for perfection. I have an example. So I went to Samson's drum showcase, right? So he's 16, he's taking drum lessons, and they have an annual showcase where they'll show their work of a song that they've been playing or working on to show people. And it's at a club, and you pay your ticket to see, and it's all their friends and families. And during his song, he dropped a stick. And then I was so impressed. Like without missing a beat, he kept the bass going. He leaned down, picked it up, and kept going.
Mm.
And that to me is like an amazing performance. It took the audience along for a ride. I saw his like one of his teachers like kind of get up when it happened, but then sit right back down real quick because he knew he didn't have to help. That Samson didn't need help. And so like oh, it was just a remarkable performance. And then at the end, he was really just upset and disappointed in himself for having dropped the stick. And I was trying to tell him, like, oh my God, that's not the point. It was just such a great performance. And everybody was with you, and you just, like, without missing a beat, that was so pro and amazing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like when you go to see a concert live, it's about experiencing the process of the artist, expressing organically, and it's a live production is never perfect, actually. And but I think B-roll. What I'm thinking of from this is B-roll. Like we love making B-roll at the Moyer
Hmm.
Press, and B-roll is people are always like, "Why are you taking a video of this? It's a band practice." And I was like, "We're making B-roll." Like if you look at the Beatles always had B-roll going on, and that's part of why you love the Beatles. Is you saw them talking about stuff in the studio, and you saw them working it out. Like it's if it's the only end product. Okay, like here's an example. Athletes to me are similar to artists because okay, let's say you're trying to make an album. It's kind of like your big fight. You're like, are they going to get through the album? Are they going to make it? Like they got to, it's like the big match in the ring, and then you see the athletes training for the match. They're doing their speed bag, and like we love training vignettes.
Yes.
For
Yes.
artists, B-roll is training vignettes, and we love them.
Ah, yeah, that's such a great analogy. I mean, that's my favorite part of the Rocky movies. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people think that B-roll breaks the fourth wall or whatever because at our studio we have B-roll in the same station as we have the final product videos. But I
Hmm.
I think it's all about it. It's like the journey to making the video, and then the video is all because like we'll make a clown video, but then we'll have a B-roll video that goes with the clown video, and it's sometimes it's nice to release the final video first and then release a B-roll like a month
Hmm.
later because then it doesn't, you know what I'm saying. But if you can also release a B-roll first and then release a video. So, Kimber says she loves it when the fourth wall is broken. I mean, that's actually really good to know because I feel like people always think it's an error when you break the fourth wall, but I think artists actually do it on purpose sometimes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love the behind the scenes stuff. And there's like a whole right one of those music video channels or whatever, there was a whole series like called Behind the Music, right? And in bookstores there's a whole sections of like documentaries or I mean of biographies, and then there's movie channels. There's a whole thing of documentaries because we want to see the story behind the people, right?
Yeah, like Kimber and Jen are going to have their show coming up, and they could look all pro in their show, but then they could make some behind the scenes videos where they're like talking about the show and getting ready and like fretting over what they're going to do, and like I think both of those are compelling.
Hmm. So here's what the advice is, if you can see this: become a documentarian of what you do. So we all have a cell phone. Uh, take pictures. Take a second to take some selfies. Have your friend take some selfies. Get an Insta boyfriend, something. But just like get some recordings of you doing your artwork because we want to see that.
Yeah, you remember when got your truck got shut down on the freeway and you were like doing some like MacGyver move on your truck, and I was like, "Damn, you
Mhm.
missed a B-roll moment." And you were like, "I don't need to produce everything I do." I was like, "The crowd would have loved to see that." Like, and, like I've been trying to get you to B-roll your life, in just in a lot of ways. B-roll is one of my favorite art forms.
Yeah. All
But I love
right.
that. Become a documentary. Like, if you're making a show here, don't just make the show. Become a documentarian of you making the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Get meta.
So, what?
Get meta.
Yeah, like with your latch hooks, like we would love to see, and I think Facebook's the best place for this, or you can make a YouTube video, but we would love to see you trying to figure out the pattern and like, and then ordering the yarn from me, and I could send the yarn over, and like with the unboxing of the yarn, and like it's like the more you get into the process, the bigger the product actually people care about it. They don't care about it if you just like show it at the end, but if you do all this stuff, then they're like watching, it's like so it's I love dramatizing the process. Like Andy sends JC yarn. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
it could be nothing, but we could also get yarn from Kimber and Jenna, and like you could get yarn from like five people, and like and like everyone documents it, and like it, you know.
Oh yeah. Interesting. We could have our characters raid each other's yarn closets.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. All right. So let's see. I guess going back to what they were saying there was some like old school books where people said, to all viewers but yourself, what matters is the product, the finished artwork. To you and you alone, what matters is the process, the experience of shaping the artwork. And we disagree.
Billy and I was getting this fight because he's like, if you show Andy, he's like, if you show the crowd everything you're doing, by the time you release your album, no one's gonna care. And I was like, I totally disagree with you. If you don't show them any of the B-roll and you release their album, it's gonna be a one hit. No one's gonna notice it. And like we've been disagreeing about this for like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, and what we're saying is in the digital age where we have the ability to take really amazing footage of things, we have the ability to take recordings of things, we have the ability to edit things without spending a zillion dollars on, professional editing software. Like I do remember when I was, younger that I wished I had the ability to edit videos. But I wish I had the ability to take videos. Like digital wasn't a thing yet, and I'm just so grateful that technology has caught up to uh, the ability for anybody to work in digital media.
Nice. I think our production meetings on Monday being live is a choice to show people our process.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, as an aside, I did take them down off of the website today.
Oh,
The
nice.
yeah. And that's the thing too, like that's a good point. Like we started creating this website. We're learning and growing as we go. And so the website might not even represent, next year the same thing that it's representing today or did last month, you know? That's
Hmm.
the other amazing thing is like we can just move so quickly and grow so quickly and morph, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, totally.
All right, so let's see. What do you think about process is messy?
Interesting. Yeah, you should see. Yeah, that's why I won't let you stay at my house.
Yeah, because it's
Like I'm constantly in process because I'm producing so many things at once. It's just a big mess.
ah, right on.
What do you think about that?
Um,
About
yeah,
process being messy?
yeah. When people say that something was a failure, I usually like just I don't say it out loud because that would be annoying, but I don't like to use the word failure for the result of any experiment
Mm,
because I think that through anything, it's just learning. And experiments aren't like a failure because then you learned something, even if it's like not to do it the same way, or, if you put that thing in the kiln at 300 degrees for 2 hours, it's going to break, like, well, you learned that, you know?
Yeah, well, and you and I learned the Kaizen approach, which is constant continuous improvement. That's the Japanese philosophy of constant improvement. And so the process is messy, but if you notice, like, for example, the thumbnails, let's look at the thumbnails. If I never put up a thumbnail, if we never put up a thumbnail until they were perfect, we wouldn't have had thumbnails for like a year, because it took me the process of doing these thumbnails and just having all these like bad ones to kind of figure out, oh, I know what makes a good thumbnail, right? So
Hmm.
all that continuous improvement was messy, but now a year later, the product, I don't know, the product there is much less messy because I went through, we did all that mess, you know what I mean? I think what I think, get used to showing people your mess, like, as far as like stop just showing them the end product and when it's done, like, look at this magical perfection thing. What's magic is the human trying. That's the magic, and the mess of trying, you know,
Yeah,
and getting better constantly, which is kaizen.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I really do feel like you gotta just put a whole bunch of stuff out there, and you gotta just, yeah, keep going. There are all sorts of
Sorry, am
things
I
you can
relating
do.
this back to the Moyer Press too much? I should be more, maybe more general. Sorry.
No, no, it's great to have examples.
Okay.
Absolutely. No, I think also, like there are two of us here too, right? So like if one of us offers a broader perspective and then the other gives an example, or we do it the opposite way, like any of this I think is good. I love grounding, our learnings in examples.
Okay.
So what they want to say is here's a list of some of the things that you could show. You could show you doing research for a thing, like you were saying, like gathering the yarn or whatever. You can show your plans, your drawings, your demos, your prototypes, your drafts. Like you don't have to wait till you have the final version of something in order to show it. I mean, you go even in my town, you can go to the museum and see, sketches by famous artists like, I don't know, Rodin or someone of their future works, and that they ended up making sculptures of. And to me, those drawings are just as interesting, for
Oh
different
yeah.
reasons.
Process pieces, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, um, I guess those are the big points for today. Kimber, do you have anything else you want to add in the mix? Do you have anything that you're inspired on or working on, or we can
I
see?
have to say, I love this one. I'm a huge fan of B-roll. I'm a huge fan of the artist as someone to follow. Like, if you watch the professional wrestlers, they're artists actually, and you watch them come up from being tiny baby wrestlers to these big characters, and it's like, you should watch the process of Cody Rhodes, who turned into the American Nightmare. His process, he turned into Stardust, and then he hated it and started drinking because he hated his character, and then he like killed Stardust and went out, quit the WWF, did all these small town things, came up as the American Nightmare. There are a lot of artists that we see in process actually, and we fall in love with them on their journey. And that's what you really want people to do in the modern day, is fall in love with you on the journey of making your thing, you know.
Yeah, just leaving my needlework because it's finished, or sticky notes on the wall out instead of hiding them. Oh, or excusing them when people stop by.
Yeah.
Oh, Kimber, that's a great one. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, it's a work in progress, and I'm sure they'll be interested, and then they'll ask you later, or they'll see the progress on it, or that's the other thing too. I mean, I was always in bands, and everybody in the band scene always is like, well, I knew them when, like, I saw the Pixies when they couldn't even play their instruments, and then everybody's so like, oh, I saw them then. If the Pixies wouldn't play a show when they didn't know how to play their instruments yet, then, like, we'd have never had the Pixies.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's so much to That's one of the biggest things we fight at this studio is we're not trying for perfection. Just show your process. And like, so this one, I wholeheartedly find your scene and show your process. The, those two lessons alone have changed the world here. Yeah.
All right.
Kilmer, hopefully you feel like you found your scene with us. I mean, not that you can't have other scenes, but I'm just saying like we Jay-Z and I try very hard to create a scene of artists who are also astrologers, you know. I mean, I think it's that's what's weird and kind of unique about this scene is that like if you talk to us during your process about your transit that you're going through, like we work a lot to transits, right? Like we'd be like, I'm in this Jupiter Mars transit for the next 6 months, so I'm going to do this and that. Like we could totally hang with you and be like, okay, yeah. Like, I think also having people follow you on transits is really interesting. And but Jay-Z, not to poke at you, but I would love to see more of your process, and I think that's where we're sad that you're not really Facebooking, because it is like we're missing your B-roll.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I'll take that to heart and take this lesson myself, like I'm learning with everybody else and yeah, I think just us talking about this has inspired me and I hope I will do that too.
Right. Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for initiating this series. I think I'm learning a lot, and hopefully everyone else is too. So, um, for anyone who's around, we're going to be jamming with Billy at 5 p.m. today, 5/8. We're doing the live jam. We're going to make our ears bleed with imperfection, so it'll be great.
All right, well have fun and see you later and see you, Kimber.
All right. Bye, Kimber.